Hey, my name is Gayathina and today I'm bringing you the alphabet soup tag. N is for Novella. This tag was originally created by Shawn the Book Maniac and I was tagged by the lovely Charlie Brook. Charlie, thank you very much for tagging me and I hope you enjoy. I apologize for the hat, but it is very sunny and the bright lights are difficult for my eyes, so if I'm squinting, that's why. Question 1. N is for Novella. What is the last good one you read? And for me, that would have to be Messenger's Legacy by Peter V. Brett. I read this one on my Kindle. It's part of the Core series. It's a fantasy series. And this novella basically tells you about the origin story of Briar. But it won't really make sense if you haven't read any books in the series. So it takes place after book 3 chronology. So that's at that point you could read it. Some of it takes place earlier, but yeah, maybe. Question 2. N is for Neighbour. A work that is largely focused on neighbours. And the one I thought of for this was The Pact by Jodi Picoult. This is about two families who are neighbours. And the son of one family and the daughter of the other family. So the daughter dies through a gunshot of the son. But he says that they had a suicide pact. And he tells the police that the next bullet was meant for him. But the police is doubting. I read this book quite a few years ago, so I don't remember a lot of it, to be honest. Which is not rare. I don't remember a lot of many books that I read a few years ago, or even earlier. But I remember liking this one a lot. It is not my favorite book by this author, but it is definitely a good one. This is an adult contemporary fiction. N is for name of a writer you would recommend whose first and or last name starts with an N. For that I've chosen Melissa Nathan. She is not with us anymore, unfortunately. She passed away quite a few years ago. And she has written 5 sort of chick lit rom-com type books. I have read 4 of them. I haven't read Acting Up because this is a Pride and Prejudice retelling. And at the time when I had read all the other 4, I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna read Pride and Prejudice, so I didn't actually read this one. But I did read the others. They are The Nanny. This was the first one I read by her, and I really enjoyed this. Then we have The Waitress, The Learning Curve, Persuading Annie, and then lastly Acting Up. I don't know if this was publication order or not. This is the order that I read them in, other than this one, but yeah, I haven't really looked into that. I read these years ago and I liked them a lot at the time. It's been so long I don't really remember much of what they're about, but yeah, I liked them a lot at the time. And I think I'll probably read this book at some point because I don't think classics are quite for me. I've realized that, so I think I can just go ahead and read this book. Question 4. N is for Nuptials. A work of fiction about a wedding that didn't suck. For this I've picked a series, which is maybe not entirely fair because it is book 4 in the series. Book 4 is called A Wedding at Christmas. These are by Christy Manby. And I really like this series. This is a proper family or Benson family series. Not entirely sure. Book 1 is called A Proper Family Holiday. And in book 1 the Benson family goes on holiday and stuff ensues. Book 2 is A Proper Family Christmas. I actually read this one first because at the time that I had bought this and that I was reading it, I didn't realize it was sort of a series. So yeah. Book 3 is A Proper Family Adventure. And then book 4 is A Wedding at Christmas. And so it is book 4 in the series, but I really like this one and this series, so. I have quite a few books about weddings on my TBR, some chick lit rom-com type books, but I couldn't think of many that I've read that are actually good other than this one. So anyway, I really like Chris Manby as a chick lit author, rom-coms, and I really like this series. Question 5. N is for Not Aging Well. A book you like less than when you read it, and I'm not really sure what to pick for this one because I don't reread a lot, and when I do reread books I usually like them just as much. Usually it's kind of a nostalgia. But yeah, I guess if it has to be a book that, if it has to be a book that I've read and then not read again, but you think back of it and you don't like it as much, I can't really think of that. Then I'd have to go and look at every single book that I read in the past since I started keeping track in 2012 and see if any of them I have changed my opinions on, because I don't really know on top of my head. 6. N is for N, a book title with lots of N's. And I've come up with Buiten Zinnen by Mel Wallace de Vries. This has 4 N's in it, and I couldn't think of any other title with more N's. Maybe I have one, but I have a lot of books, and after spending like 15 minutes looking through book titles, I was feeling tired, so I didn't look through any of the other books I had, but well, I haven't actually read this book. This is a Dutch YA thriller. According to the synopsis on the back, this book is about a teenager and she has scary dreams at night of a man being in her bedroom and touching her. And they're getting more and more scary, more and more real, and she's not quite sure if it's real or not. That's basically what the back says, so. But yeah, I haven't read it yet, so I can't tell you what I thought, but I've heard good things. At least of this author, I don't know about this specific book. Question 7, N is for Not Sure. A book you keep changing your mind about whether you want to read it or not. Until recently, this was the Six of Crows duology, consisting of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Because I doubted for a long time whether I want to read these books or not. But it turned out I could borrow them from the library, and so I have just read them. The last book I finished was Crooked Kingdom, as I'm filming this. So I don't have a new answer just yet. Question 8. N is for Nitpick. Some small literary, writing or book related thing that drives you around the bend. I find this a bit difficult because there are various things that annoy me. So if I have a list of stuff to pick from, that would make it much easier. But on top of my head, I don't know if there's one thing that annoys me more than other things, to be honest. 9. N is for Next to Nothing, a book that you read as an adult that you barely remember anything about. To be honest, there are a lot of books that I've read that I don't remember much about, and since I don't really remember them, I can't really tell you what they are. Unless I go through a list of what I've read, but that's only for the past, since 2012, so for the past 7 years. So I don't know, lots of them. Question 10, N is for New Zealand, a book or writer you'd like to read from there. Oh, I have picked something that I've actually already read. I hope that's okay. I misread the question when I was in my library collecting these books. For that, I'm picking Juliette Marillet. It's pretty pronounced differently. I have picked first 3 books in the Seven Waters series, or the Zeven Water in Dutch. These are the Dutch editions. I have actually already read these. I read them from the library when I was a teenager, and I liked them. And so at some point I bought my own copies, but as you can see, it's still in the plastic. I have intended to reread this years ago, and I still haven't. But oh well, what else is new? So in Dutch, book 1 is called Dochter van het Woud, and book 2 is Zoon van de Schaduw, and book 3 is Kind van de Profetie. In English, the titles are Daughter of the Forest, Son of the Shadows, and Child of the Prophecy, so basically a literal translation. And so yeah, I liked this when I was a teenager, and maybe one day I'll reread it. We will see. 11. N is for Nodding Off, a mind-numbingly boring book. To be honest, I don't tend to remember books that are very boring, so I'm not really sure. If I find a book boring, I tend not to finish it. I tend to just DNF it and like get it out of my life, sort of thing. I don't DNF a lot of books. I'm generally pretty okay with guessing, like, well, not guessing, but like estimating which books I like. I can't really think of any books that I found like really boring. 12. N is for Next, the next book that you're going to read. Well, I know what I'm currently reading, but I'm currently doing a buddy read with my friend Charlie Brook. We're reading All Out, which is a YA queer anthology, historical fiction. I don't have it here with me right now because I didn't bring it. But I don't know what the next one is that I'm going to read, because I'm just going to see what I feel in the mood for when I get to that point. I haven't been feeling like reading for the past few days, to be honest, as I'm filming this. After reading the Six of Crows duology, I feel like I need a bit of a break from reading after trying to get my library loans finished. I've decided not to read the rest of them. I need a break from reading for a few days, other than reading the short stories in All Out, which that's fine and it's nice. So I don't know yet what I'm reading next. 13, and it's for now it's your turn. Tag some booktubers. So I've thought of 2 people. The first person I want to tag is Ola Quinn. She's a friend from Booktube, and I know she does quite a few tags, so if you haven't done this tag, Ola, feel free to do it if you want to. And the other one is Penny from Lethal Lime Reads. I thought you might like to do this tag, especially since it includes a question about New Zealand, and I know you live there, so I thought you might like to do this tag if you want to. If not, that's okay too. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!